COVID-19 pandemic, the Board of Estimates continues to meet virtually. At this time, I will ask Comptroller Henry for any corrections, additions, or noted abstentions to today's agenda.
Thank you, Mr. President. There are no changes or corrections for today's meeting. There are no protests for today's meeting. The following items are being deferred or withdrawn. On pages 58 to 59, item number 14, Bureau of Procurement, contract number 08000, staging equipment at the Baltimore Convention Center, is being deferred to July 21st, 2021 at the request of the mayor. On page 59, item number 15, Bureau of Procurement, contract number 08000, which I'm going to have to pause there, Mr. President, because I think we have a typo on this, and one of those contract numbers I think might be an error. You'll pardon me, I'm going to check the agenda itself. Go down to page 58. And that was 8,000, and then staging equipment for the, oh, no, I'm sorry, my mistake, sir. They are both 08000. The second one that is being deferred is contract 08000, 800 megahertz radio facilities maintenance agreement, Mayor's Office of Information Technology, Baltimore City Fire Department, Baltimore City Police Department, and that is being deferred until July 21st, 2021 at the request of the president. And then the final item being deferred or withdrawn is on pages 66 to 67. Item number 3, Bureau of Procurement, B50006139, armed security guards, is being withdrawn at the request of the mayor. The following items are being moved to the non-routine agenda. On page 5, Department of Law, Settlement Agreement and Release. And on pages 60 to 62, Department of Finance, Pilot Agreement. There are no items being moved to the routine agenda. And Mr. President, there are no abstentions, and that is the end of changes to the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Comptroller. I would now like to direct the board members' attention to a memorandum from my office dated July 12, 2021, identifying matters to be considered as routine agenda items. Together with the corrections and additions that have been noted by the Comptroller, I will entertain a motion for us to proceed regarding the routine agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor of approving any items on the routine agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The routine agenda is adopted. The first item on the non-routine agenda today can be found on page 5, the Department of Law Settlement Agreement and Release. This is the most recent in series of settlement agreements that have come before the board, recently related to residents who have sustained injuries after tripping and falling over damaged sidewalks. In this case, the injuries were sustained on Key Highway. At this time, I would like to recognize the Department of Law or the Department of Transportation to provide any additional insight regarding this particular matter. Deputy Solicitor, are you going to take this first?
Yes, sir.
At this point, I yield the floor to Deputy Solicitor Ingram.
Good morning, Mayor Scott, Council President Mosby, Comptroller Henry, and other honorable members of the board. The Law Department requests the Board of Estimates to approve its settlement in the amount of $140,000 due to the incident that occurred on February 23rd, 2007, around 12:30 p.m. on the sidewalk of 1407 Key Highway. The location is in the area, the immediate area of 1407 Key Highway. In this incident, plaintiff Randolph Blair, who was a Department of Homeland Security attorney, was jogging on the sidewalk on the eastbound of Key Highway when he tripped and fell on a rise sidewalk, and the city the law department believes in the best interest of the city that this matter should be settled due to the fact that the city attempted to remedy the sidewalk raise. However, due to engineering standards, it wasn't to the best of the ability the city should have remedied the issue, and the city may be is perceived to may be liable in this incident. The plaintiff appears to be a viable witness, and pursuant to the accident, the plaintiff injured his shoulder. His bone was protruding out of his joint. It wasn't fractured, however, he had to undergo reconstructive arthroscopic surgery to repair his right AC joint, and he also tore his rotator cuff. Due to the extent of the injury, the plaintiff had to undergo many treatments as well as surgery, which he received medical bills or special damages in the amount of $81,000, a little over $81,000, in addition to a lien, a medical lien by his insurer. His lost wages was above $12,000. So in total, his special damage was over $93,000, in addition to the pain and suffering that occurred, and the settlement demand that the plaintiff sought of $300,000 in the best interest of the city. The law department believes the settlement of $140,000 is in the best interest of the city, and we request the Board of Estimates to approve this settlement. Thank you.
No, thank you, Deputy Solicitor. Obviously, this one is a lot more than what we've seen in the past. I guess the extent of his injuries is the reason for that. I think we saw one a couple weeks ago is maybe $24,000 or $30,000.
Correct.
I see, Mr. Mayor, I yield the floor to you.
Yeah, I was just going to ask the Deputy Solicitor also, I believe 1407 is city property versus the other properties before that weren't city property, correct?
Correct.
Ms. Comptroller, do you have any questions or concerns?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, Mr. Deputy Solicitor. How are you?
Doing well, sir.
If you could go back and tell us when was this claim filed with the city?
The incident occurred in February of 2017, and the claim was relatively thereafter. However, I don't have the specific information of the exact date.
So, okay, the reason I ask is I know that in one of the previous incidents in the last couple of months, there was evidence that the city uncovered that we had been notified about the tripping hazard before the incident happened. Is this another situation where we knew that there was a problem there, but we just had not had a chance to fix it? Or was this was this a time when the fact that the problem happened and the claim was filed is what tipped the city off to the fact that work needs to be done there?
Great question. The city actually had noticed, due to the fact that it tried to repair the sidewalk. However, the repair wasn't to customary engineering practices, and because of the shadowing of the tree and the coloring of the asphalt, reasonably a person could not have observed the repair to which a trip and fall. And in the best interest of the city, due to the actual liability because of notice and the extent of the injuries and the veracity of the witness, it's in the best interest of the city to resolve this, and due to its close proximity to a city property as well.
And Mr. President, this the next question is probably better answered by DOT, and that is, so what is the current status of repairs to the sidewalk and the timeline for completing them?
So the initial repairs that were made before the person injured themselves were temporary repairs. So frequently the department will make temporary asphalt repairs on the sidewalks. So that was the initial repair. They've greatly improved the repair, and it's scheduled for the next couple of weeks. Should be done before the end of August.
That's great. Okay, thank you. And finally, Mr. President, the board has voted on settlement agreements for, I think this is the third trip and fall personal injury case in the last 3 or 4 months. Is there a way that we can work with the law department to schedule an update on the law department? I know Deputy Solicitor Ingram had been specifically working on getting a hazards mitigation policy into place with the agencies. Could we schedule a briefing on that at a later board meeting?
Certainly, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Mr. Comptroller, we'll make sure the solicitor and his team gets you the information that you need.
All right, thank you very much.
I just have one additional question, Deputy Solicitor. So you said it wasn't to the best engineering standards, I guess the remedy that was put in place. Is that the fault of the vendor that did that, or?
Well, I think Mr. Sharkey can attest to whether it was city, remedied by the city or temporarily repaired by the city or a contractor.
No, so in most cases, when tree roots uproot sidewalks, the repairs or temporary repairs are done with asphalt by in-house crews who, ramp it. And that's
Gotcha.
what was done in this case at that time.
Thank you, Director. Thank you, Deputy Solicitor. At this point, are there any additional questions or concerns from members of the board? Hearing and seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
I move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. This item is now approved. Before we move on to the second item, I'm sorry, we have to take some quick housekeeping notes. I believe this is the first meeting that Director Mitchell is sitting in as a member of this board. Is that correct, Director Mitchell?
It is the second.
It's the second. I missed announcing you last time, so I'm so sorry. I'm going to make sure that the general public knows. Director Jason Mitchell is now the director of DPW. I think he was getting his feet wet, learning the city and figuring out everything. But now he's going to be a fixture on the Board of Estimates. So we just want to make sure that we welcome you appropriately. Sorry for not doing that before, sir. So now we're going to move on to the second item. The next item on the non-routine agenda today can be found on pages 60 through 62, the Department of Finance pilot agreement. This agreement is related to a continued redevelopment of Perkins Somerset Old Town. The project that is subject to this agreement is in the third phase of mixed income housing that is part of the PSO redevelopment. At this time, I would like to recognize representatives from either Finance or DHCD to speak on behalf of this particular item. I believe Commissioner Kennedy, you are here to speak from a DHCD perspective.
Yes, good morning. The affordable housing pilots are enabled under Section 7 of the Tax and Property Article of the Annotated Code of the State of Maryland, and they can be approved for housing projects that serve individuals at or below 60% of the area median income adjusted for family size. They are also financed partially or wholly under a government program that provides housing for low-income families. Examples would be a low-income housing tax credit or federal home funds that are also supporting project. And they are also owned in a structure with a nonprofit as its managing partner, or includes participation of the Housing Authority of Baltimore City. We work with the law department to help make a determination that a project requesting affordable housing pilot is eligible under the state statute. And then our staff at DHCD underwrite the projects, and those underwriting and the projects are then vetted by the Affordable Housing Pilot Committee and are introduced to the Board of Estimates at the discretion of the Director of Finance. And we work very closely with Director Raymond on the affordable housing pilots as they come up. They're typically calculated at 10% of the tenant paid portion of the rent, less any owner paid utilities, but there are shifts and changes in some of those calculations and can be project specific. The affordable housing pilots are completely separate and distinct from commercial pilots, which are originated by the Baltimore Development Corporation. Specifically for this pilot, which is Somerset 3 or ASQUITH, represents the third phase of the Perkins Somerset Old Town Transformation Plan, otherwise known as the PSO, funded in part with a $30 million Choice Neighborhoods Implementation Grant from HUD. HABC and the City of Baltimore and DHCD are working together to provide one-for-one replacement of the former Perkins and Somerset Homes public housing units. A total of approximately 2,172 units will be developed throughout the entire PSO project. Approximately 73% of those units, of the proposed 1,346 units, will be affordable to residents who earn less than 80% AMI, including 652 public housing replacement units. Construction is subsequently complete on Somerset 1. Financing for Somerset 2 closed in June of 2021, and pilots were approved by the Board of Estimates for Somerset 1 on May 2nd of 2019 and on November 4th of 2020, respectively. Just a quick project overview for Somerset 3, which is the pilot before you today. It's 72 mixed income units, including 36 replacement public housing units, 16 unassisted units affordable up to 60% AMI, and then 20 market rate units. It's a 4-story building with a central second floor central courtyard. And the total development cost is approximately $28.5 million for the entire development. 4% low-income housing tax credit is generating over $9 million in equity. The state CDA program has committed $2.5 million in rental housing works, as well as $1.8 million in the state affordable housing trust loans. Baltimore City, DHCD, we have a letter of interest on a home loan for $2.25 million. And there's also $2.9 million in TIF proceeds towards the infrastructure of this project specifically. HABC has also committed $1.17 million of Choice Neighborhoods Implementation Grant funds and a $1.1 million seller's note on the acquisition of the land. The developer is deferring approximately $961,000 of fee and contributing an additional $500,000 equity into the deal. And it's supporting a Freddie Mac first mortgage in the amount of $7.4 million. I say all of that just to highlight the complexity of the affordable housing projects that we have in the city as it comes to creating the capital stack needed to create much needed affordable housing units for the residents of Baltimore. This pilot request, the proposed pilot payment is $63,000 per year. The pilot represents a savings of potential of $183,384 per year compared to the projected property tax bill. The property is currently owned by the mayor and city council and does not generate any property tax proceeds at this time. The key piece here is that without the pilot, the project will have a deficit of over $3,135,000 in capital sources due to reduced first mortgage debt, which would not be able to be covered through other public or private sources, and which is one reason why I highlighted the capital stack for you. Therefore, the Department of Housing and Community Development supports the pilot and believes that this pilot is necessary for the project to proceed, and recommends in a vote in favor of the requested pilot in order to support the creation of affordable housing within the city of Baltimore. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kennedy. At this point, are there any questions or concerns from members of the board? Mr. Comptroller, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President and Commissioner, Director Raymond. I know that a lot of times agencies believe that if their item is placed on non-routine, that means there's going to be a fight over it and there's going to be controversy. I just want to make this clear. I asked for this item to be placed on the non-routine agenda, not out of concerns about it, but I know we all support affordable housing, and I thought we would appreciate the opportunity to spotlight an example of the city helping to make a project like this happen. Mr. President, Mr. Mayor, we were all at the ribbon cutting for 700 Chase last week, and we got an opportunity to speak to the crowd about how important it is that these projects happen. I wanted to take this opportunity at the very, very, very beginning of a project to just share with the people of Baltimore that this is something that the city does work towards and tries to help. And when we have the right partners, we can help make this kind of thing happen. So I was going to ask a couple other persnickety questions about like the difference between an affordable housing pilot and the more conventional commercial ones, but you already answered all those in the presentation. So I don't have any further questions, Mr. President, and thank you.
No, thank you, Comptroller Henry. At this point, are there any additional questions or concerns for DHCD? Hearing and seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Move approval. Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. This item is approved. Now on to the final item of today's non-routine agenda. Hold on one second. Actually, contract number B50006139 was removed from today's agenda. So with that, we're done. All the business at the desk is complete. Are there any additional questions, concerns from board members? Okay,
Thank you,
hearing and seeing none. As there's no more business before the board today, we will recess until bid opening at 12 noon. The Board of Estimates will reconvene on Wednesday, July 21st at 9 a.m. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. Baltimore, we love you.